Well, at the time of going to air, Sammy Curtis he's either had a shower or he's been outside at Ian Healy. How are you, mate? It's a bit moist tonight. Today being Wednesday, game one wiped out.
Yeah, I went down there earlier just to check things out. I actually, at that stage, I thought we were still on. So I was taking the kit down to pop into the dressing room and get ready. And the groundy came out and said, mate, we're no go tonight. So disappointing for us because everyone's super keen. And, the local squad's been training since the first week of June. Like, we got in pretty early. Some of the girls have been playing in the local competitions with the boys' sides or even the men's sides. So that's been awesome. And, I thought we were prepping pretty well. And then obviously the forecast for game two is not fantastic either. So a little bit disappointing, but what can you do? You can't control the weather.
Not yet. Listen, just talking about pre-season training. So last year with the Red Bull and also the KFC T20, it just, or I shouldn't say Red Bull, the longer form of the game, I suppose. We just we had a great start. I know T20 is a different beast, Sam, as you know, because one game can just ruin your whole season. That's what happened in the semi-final. You led up to your form. You were probably the form side of the competition for mine. And one game and all of a sudden comes unstuck. But the other stuff was we started well. How did you go with pre-season? Did you change it up a little bit? Talking to Laura, who's not young, as she keeps reminding me, said pre-season is pretty solid. But did you roll it back a little bit?
Not really. I think we sort of increased it more. We maybe sort of push things towards being more self-sufficient in terms of fitness and volume of balls, striking and catching. But we push forward in terms of connection as a side and, obviously a culture piece. So I'm massive on culture. I think it's the most important thing that a team has. So we've sort of increased that. The challenge for us as well is just everyone's life is quite busy, so mine included. So, the girls get to see me sort of once a week leading into the season, every second week, maybe twice a week. So it's been pretty challenging juggling that. But at the same time, there's some pretty competitive girls in the environment who are aspirational and keen for a place in that side. So they've all been working really hard and pushing themselves, and, you can see it in their hunger in the nets.
That's the word I was going to say. Hungry. They say you learn more from a loss than you do from win, and I just feel them. They know it, and it's just a case of just applying week in, week out. It's a long summer, Sam, as you know, and as you said, with pre-seasons on the end of it. And if you go deep into the competition, you're playing into into January and February. So it's up here basically. It's the legs of that and the tickers there. It's just trying to get this mental toughness. Mate, let's just go to the T20. Look, I'm looking at this side here, and unfortunately, it goes all the way down to Eve. And obviously, there's a few other players to be involved in that. We talk about culture. That's a hungry and determined looking outfit were to roll out. Obviously, there'll be some changes, but a couple of familiar faces and a couple of new ones.
Yeah, that's right. Starting at the top of the order, Caitlin, she was here for a portion of the season last season. And, she's a bit of a revelation for our side because she's just so keen, positive, determined, that it really rubbed off on the girls, and they just loved having her around. So now basically living in Australia full time, and we get to have her week in, week out, which is absolutely fantastic. And then the return of Junior, the skipper, Elise Villani, she's just quality. I mean, having a conversation with Elise yesterday face to face, it's the most calming and relaxing thing you can do because you're just so confident in terms of execution and game plans and what's going to occur out on the field, because she's so across everything, but she's even outside the square of the things that you're thinking about. She's like, well, here's option B, C, D, E, F, and she's just, a real cricketer, Elise. And then obviously Laura joining the crew this year is, a massive get for us. Yeah. And Laura, she's sort of quiet by nature and relaxed, but gee, when you see her bat, she's certainly not that.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, it's all experience, isn't it? The two players you mentioned who are calming and confident are experienced players, and that obviously can brush off. We're talking about obviously Delisa Laycock. She's been with the Seagulls for a long time. Clover, young, but's played a lot of cricket as well, so they're cool heads. But there's certainly plenty there. We've got to get them out on the park. Now, for yourself, mate, we talk about plan A, B, C, D. You've seen the other interviews. The bookies want to know Harris to open bowling, and Hayley Silver Holmes to open the batting. The quadrella, mate. What are the chances they've wound it out to like $20?
I mean, you should probably be coaching instead of me, JD, because these are things that we'd actually discussed. Because, you know, both probably interviews you've done so far, the girls have mentioned how fickle the game can be. And so you do have to be quite inventive at times, and you've got to be looking to gain the momentum as soon as possible. So just things that people don't expect are actually quite good to produce in a game of T20 because, you know, like I say, there'll be a plan in place. And it's whether the opposition also has plan B, C, D, E, F, etc. So that's what you're trying to do, a little bit of a surprise attack at times. So, you know, and obviously now there's weather involved, and the shorter the game gets, the more inventive you have to be, and the more sort of adaptable and with your strategies you've got to be as well. So yeah, we're doing a lot of thinking at the moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, Laura travels all around the world, and they would have had some funky ideas, obviously, in Barbados and places like that, Elise as well. Nicola's gone around the country, around the world as well. So there's certainly a lot of ideas that you would never have thought of that they can bring to the clipboard.
Correct. And that's, you know, I said this last year, it's not just about winning the games. Winning's a byproduct, and it's a nice thing to have. But we have a squad of girls that, in general, the game awareness wasn't quite there or where I sort of was hoping it would be when I first got involved. So a big part of that is getting the Elise Villanis, you know, around the girls, and so they can basically become sponges and learn all they can in this short amount of time. You know, we've got a fortnight basically from go to woe that they can try and draw some information, and just, you know, just being around them and viewing how they go about things, viewing field settings, like asking questions, why did you do that? It's so beneficial. It's such a beneficial thing to have at your fingertips. And, you know, previously we've had no contracted players, and now we've got Laura. So that's where it sort of evolves. And yeah, so I'm certainly glad we've got them around.
As you mentioned, there's only a couple of weeks. So I'm assuming you're a smart man. I might have a go at times about your dodgy hammies, both of them. Good luck with a wheelie walker. Because of the short form, okay, that's only 2 weeks. You've got these players who play the longer form as well. So you really need to absorb that experience and that knowledge to take into, you know, October through to February. So you need the Villanis and the Cooks and that to give you that longer form of the game experience as well. It's not just about T20, because T20 is a lottery for mine. The proper game of cricket is the longer form for mine. That's everything, mental and physical. It's a showcase system. So you need that information to give to the girls to take into the back end of the summer.
Yeah, that's right. And the product is still cricket. So cricket is a strategy game. Like it's a lot of strategic work. So, you know, to obviously draw and influence someone like Elise and Laura to draw from that is really key. So it helps with planning going into the season, because obviously they step away. Obviously, Laura might be with us through parts of the season, but Clodagh's got to own it, and then she's got to formulate her plans from the experience that she's gained from the likes of Elise, you know, early on in the season. And that helped last year. You could see it in our performances. Yep. You know, we sort of finished third in the local T20 competition, and then I think we finished fifth in the one day format. And in my opinion, we were better than that. We were definitely a top 4 side. So,
well, it was only one game, wasn't it, at the back end that you probably should have won. I can't remember who it was against. Would have got you into the semi-finals, and that's how cruel cricket can be. It was just one of those days that didn't quite get you in there. But and I assume I got numbers behind me. There's only 12 there, and as you said, once those girls leave, and Laura might stick around, you'd need to have those girls in the squad for the whole 20 of them from day one, even though they're not getting any game time at the KFC level.
Yeah, well, and there's still a plan to somehow factor in. We named a squad of 17, 18, and somehow factor in game time for all of them. So it's like nice. 1 in, 1 out, maybe 2 out, 1 game. And it depends on loads with bowlers and things like that too. But the other part of that, JD, is I want them around the group. Yes. So I've said to all the girls in the squad, and even the girls that aren't in the squad, like, come and be a part of it. If you want to be involved and sit in the dugout so you can view what's going on and draw information, like that's really key. And to be fair, like, the competition for places for the first 12 that we've named was red hot. There was a long deliberation process around who gets the, you know, 9th, 10th, 11th spot. Like, it was really, really challenging to select our team, which is a good thing. And, you know, obviously there's some pretty disappointing girls, but at the same time, like, disappointment should drive you. And, you know, that's when you go, okay, Sam, well, I'll show you why you didn't, you know, put me in the team, and this is what I've got to offer. And it creates that competition and hunger within the squad to play first grade cricket, which is what we're trying to build and develop.
Yeah, you just never know. I mean, obviously, injury, form lapse, conditions, the opposition can come into play. Do you need more spinners? Are they terrible playing spin? All that sort of stuff here. You just don't know when you're going to pick. I mean, take Grace Collins. I mean, Grace is probably, no offense, when she came to the Seagulls, was a good bowler. Now she's a great bowler, but she's learnt because she's played, you know, been on her toes and knows she's got somebody knocking on the door. You've got Amarine, obviously, and company there knocking on her door, and she's, you know, that's, and it's so long as they enjoy that competitive nature amongst themselves, which I know you'll instill in them, it just augurs well for not only on the field but off the field, and you take it in the everyday life.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, I haven't outwardly said this, but, you know, you're putting we in front of me. So you're saying what about us, like, we all want to celebrate the success of the side, the club in general. So that's really important. Yeah, you can be disappointed, but you pick yourself up, and to everyone's credit who wasn't named in the side, they all said, Sammy, I'll be there on Wednesday night. You know, and that's fantastic. And that's what culture is, and that's what you're trying to create. And so for me, I'm like, okay, well, we're doing something right here that the girls might be disappointed, but they still want to be there and they still want to see us succeed. And that speaks volumes about them as people as well.
Watch that tonight, probably tomorrow night, maybe at the Gold Coast. So the season's halved. So that means it's gone from a 2-mile race to a run down the straight, isn't it? So again, that's going to change the tactics you have. And then at that point too, Sam, you're obviously looking at the results of other games where normally you wouldn't in round 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's going to, you know, make everything a little bit more even as well. And not that the comp's not even. Like, I think it was Laura saying yesterday, you know, like, you look across those teams and there's some pretty good players across the board. So it's not like any one team is a standout. So, yeah, to lose games brings it back even further and makes the margin so small. So everyone's going to sort of have their head over their shoulder, looking back at the other teams and looking around and seeing what's going on. So it's going to be quite a hectic few days. It was already, you know, condensed from last season, 7 games in 8 days. But even more so now that it's held skelter.
Exactly. All right. Well, the big thing is double header this Sunday at Bill Aubrey Oval. Get down and watch the girls. Hopefully the weather's fine. Best viewing spot in Australia to watch cricket for mine, and up in the White House there. And we'll get down and support the girls. You're not going to be disappointed. This is a world class. Well, first class lineup here that's behind me as well. And you know, there's some players of today, but superstars are tomorrow, and then superstars of yesterday playing today. Great stuff. You must be. We'll wrap it up because I could talk to you all day. So how blessed do you feel, mate?
Blessed, proud. You know, it's just amazing being involved with the competition, with the club, a really supportive club. You know, driven by a really supportive president. That basically everything I've suggested we do for women's cricket has been, you know, the seal of approval has been stamped. So, yeah, I'm very humbled to be involved, and, you know, we're building something, and I say it's something special because I firmly believe it is. That, you know, a 2 or 3 year plan, there should be some silverware in the cabinet. So let's hope it happens sooner rather than later, JD. But yeah, no, we're building.
It won't. Yeah, it will. But I will mention one thing. I did speak to the president. Apparently, you're uninsurable for injury. Apparently, you're too.
Yeah.
You're too brittle, mate.
We've got to take this focus off my injuries and put it on someone else.
No, that's fine, mate. So I don't think there's anything wrong with you. You just don't want to run in front of everybody else. You're fine.
Yeah,
it's a good card.
Run. Yeah, hit boundaries, don't run.
Genius. Sammy Curtis, always a pleasure to talk to you. Great to chat to you again, mate. Good luck. Hope we get some cricket going, possibly not tomorrow night, but over the weekend. For the sake of the girls, get them out. They've done all the hard work, and to be taken away because the weather's a shame. But like you said, there's nothing to do about it yet. Thanks, Sammy.
That's right. Thanks, JD, and thanks for your support, mate. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure, mate. Thank you.